Alright, so the easiest thing for us to do first of all is to download that mygame.zip. So if you don't have that, you need to get that first. Alright, so all I need to do is I'll just extract that, and you should all have that extracted by now anyway. So I'm going to extract that out. I'm just going to put it into a folder called mygame, will do for the moment, and just extract that. So now that that's done, I've got my mygame here. Just to open it up, go into mygame, and ignore that. That's there. Assets, scenes, and just open up the main scene. Now this is our main scene that we've got. Now, this has lots of different things. What I want to do though is I'm just going to get rid of most of these things. So I've got my enemies in here, so they're already pre-made, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to get rid of all of that. So I'm just going to delete that. Need to keep my canvas, because my canvas has my timers, which are, if I zoom that right out, which are here. So it's got my coin, my health, that all sits up there. So just leave those. The coins, look, we can get rid of those. So we can just delete those. The environment, if I just go back into here, that's actually the walls and everything. So I'm actually going to keep the walls, but I'm just going to get rid of all of the cubes for the moment. Okay. Alright, so now I've just basically got some walls and nothing really in between it. First things I need to do is I need to come down to my assets. I've got my enemies. If I go into my sample assets, this is where I've got my player. Characters, third person, prefab, third person here. Just drag him onto the scene. If I double click on him, zooms in on him a bit more. So there he is there. What I need to do, and that's our Ethan, what I need to do is then put a camera on him, sample assets, camera, prefabs, free look camera. Drag it anywhere onto the scene. I need to tell the free look camera to look at him, so I drag the third person character over to this part where it says target on the free look cam, let that go. Now if I play it, I move him around and he's looking around the environment. If I start running this way, he starts running that way. Okay. Now what I do is I want to add an enemy. So easiest way is if I go to assets and prefabs, there are my enemies. I can just drag them on. Just going to zoom this out for a little bit. Grab an enemy and drag him on there. So now you notice that the green line, that's his base. Move that just that little bit out there. So he's outside of the green line. So now you'll see he's not following me. If I move towards him a little bit, he turns around and he starts to follow me. And then if I move away, he stops. Right. That's all good. What I want to do though is I want to change this character. So if I double click on enemy just to zoom in on that for a little bit. Okay. Instead of this I want to add a zombie character. So I went to the internet and I went and grabbed one. I'll show you that now. Right, so here we are. So it's on the asset store just under 3D models, characters, and I just went to tunes. Alright, now the one I want is actually this one here. This cartoon zoom sample. That comes up, and what I did was open it in Unity and download that. Alright, so you can download any of them. I've already got that though, so what you can do is you can get a copy of that from my folder. So the one that you want to get is you want to get a copy of that zip file. Just download that, get a copy of that folder. What you can do then is just right click, copy the folder, then look for your project. So I'm in Unity, went to mygame, assets, and I just put it in there. Paste that in. That's my tunes. What I also want you to do though while you're there is go back to that collections, asset collections, and look for the enemy with animation. Just right click on that, copy that, and go and put that in there as well. So under my game and assets, and we'll just put that under scripts. Paste. Alright, now if we go back to our Unity game, that'll compile all our scripts. Alright, now that's done, what I want to do is I want to grab this zombie character. So, where is he? I've gone and put him down here. See that Toon Zombies? Open that up. Now what I want to use is I actually want to use the model. So we go down to the model, I want to use this model animation. So I click on this plus sign, what I do is I get all the animations here. And if I look at them, I can see that I've got an idle 2, which I like. So if I actually click on that, what I can do is I can then play and say that's what his idle looks like. This is what his walk looks like. And this is what his death looks like. And they're the three things I want to actually do when I run over him. So, let's go and grab that animation. A little plus sign there. I'm going to grab that animation. I'm going to go stick it over here so it's sort of on the box. Now, I'm actually going to try and drag this as he's on the box, but he's a bit too small for it. So, let's just double his size there. So, I'm going to make it 2.5. His scale, just to sort of fit that a little bit. There we go, and then just drag him down so he's actually inside there a bit. If I just move that around, just move him out, make sure he's sort of above the ground there. There we go. Just move him back inside, and sort of in the middle of that box there. Alright, so now that he's there, I've got my zombie here. I actually want him as part of the enemy. So I drag this enemy here, drag him, and now make him just as part of the enemy. And see, you got the mesh there. Alright, so we play that. At the moment, we move him, we drag him towards there, and he turns, but see, he's just not quite turned the right way. So we need to rotate him. So let's get this guy here. See his rotation there. You just got to fiddle with the rotation to get that right. Should be the same number as the enemy. See, the enemy's 290 here. Should be the same as that. And the zombie's 290. Play him there. We'll see how that goes. Needs a little bit more. Alright. So need to turn him just slightly there. So we'll fiddle with that a little bit later. Maybe more like that. Alright. So, now what we want to do is, we've got our box there. We're going to get rid of our box now. Grab the mesh. Delete that. So yep, I want to get rid of that. Now we want to animate him. All we're going to do to animate him is, first thing, we go to animations. We change this to legacy. Now there's lots of different ways of doing this. Legacy just at the moment, that's an old school way. We'll just do that. So you change it to legacy, go to animations, we apply that. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to go to our animation here, and we look at the actual animations, and these are all the animations that are here. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're actually going to change our script for our enemy. We're going to scroll down here, and instead of using enemy, we're going to get rid of that, remove the component, it's on the enemy, and then we're going to add a component, scripts, we're going to look for that enemy with animation that we added. Now, what this one here does is it looks for the animation component, which is the zombie from here. Then it looks for the different versions of idle, walk, and death. So what we do back is, let's go back to the animation, have a read of those. Okay, I want idle 2, I want death 01, and I want walk 01. So if I go back to my enemy, just type in what those values were, which is idle 02, just the idle 01 I didn't like when I looked at that before, idle 01, walk 01, and then death 01. Okay, so now when we play him, he may not be walking exactly the right way, but at the moment he's idle, so his animation's working there. If I move towards him a little bit more, there we go, then he walks towards me. Okay. Next thing is we've got to get our side triggers, make sure they're right. So our side trigger, that boxes around him, so if I go to side triggers, that does box around him. It's not quite tall enough though. So if I get my size, just make him about as big as the character. It's about the size of the character, and then if I get my top box and just make sure that that sits above that, that's about the right size. I'll make it bigger if I want. Now if I play, if I move towards him and jump, he dies. And that's it.